I just heard a quote, and I was trying to get up the nerve to talk about the story that I just went through in the last couple days. And the quote was, "The universe will break your heart if it needs to save your soul." And that's kind of what I'm feeling right now. As I was venturing out into a new world of potentially dating again, thought I found myself a very conscious and awake person, and only to find out that it was a really big fat lesson in the end. But it was a lesson I really needed. And I was definitely feeling inspired. And these days I only work on inspired action because that's the whole point. If I'm inspired to post about something, it's for a purpose. It's because somebody needs to hear it. So I was feeling inspired to talk about this new relationship wounding as my dog drinks so noisily at her bowl right now. Hang on. Like, who wants to air their wounding drama on the internet? But when you are in a conscious and spiritual awakening journey, that's what we do. We are lighthouses to help people navigate similar situations. So that's what I'm trying to do. I don't want to talk about it because, I can laugh about it now. There's a lot of funny, like last night I'm like, this is not my life. So I've been in the void of the awakening for quite some time. Thought I was finally getting there. I was finally getting to meet my divine masculine, and this was going to be happily ever after. That's what I thought. And lovely guy, super awake, super conscious. And, it was very short-lived, amazing experience to find someone that was such an utter complete match to me and thought the same way I did, which is weird. If you know, you know. But we projected all over each other right from the beginning, and thought we could work some of these things out because I thought, I'm pretty conscious, I'm pretty aware. I can go into this knowing what I need to do, and how to manage it. But it didn't work out quite that way. We both had some shadows still lingering. Mine, he's still probably working on his. And granted, men's nervous systems are different than women's, and they handle it differently. I don't think if there will be anything in the future for this. It would be nice, but maybe it just wasn't the right one. But man, did I get the smackdown hard on the lessons of me being emotionally unavailable. I never would have thought. But it makes sense in hindsight now because I thought I was feeling my feelings. Like, you guys, when you're in the awakening journey and you're given tower moment after tower moment after tower moment, and you feel like you're on the cusp of cracking, but you don't, and you feel such pride. You're like, oh, so stoic. I managed this. That wasn't the point. That's the lesson I learned. That was not the point. The universe was going to crack me hard until I felt it all. And I sure did. I felt, I was angry. I was angry at the universe. I was angry at my spirit guides. How dare they could betray me like this? Oh my goodness. Yeah, obviously I'm doing much better. I've bounced back really quick. It's only been a couple of days, but not like relationships of the past. So that is a bonus. That's a consciousness bonus. I knew my worth, got back into the swing of things pretty quickly once that tower fell. Now I'm in the rebuild process, but pardon me. Yeah, I thought that was it, and it was just really to show me that I wasn't feeling. And they had me in the big old ugly cry for a good 2 days, feeling all of it, thinking that this just all freaking sucks. I don't want to have any part of this awakening process anymore. I had it. I was up to here. And as we've been several times over. Our tower moments, I'm sure many can relate to that, but conscious dating's a whole nother ball game. You're seeing things that you haven't seen before. You're seeing things in a different way you haven't seen, like a different way of seeing them than you had pre-waking up. I know for some of my followers, this is not going to make any sense because you're just here for the mental health content. But if you're here for the spiritual awakening journey, this is the raw and real stuff. But conscious dating has a whole other element of complication and more shadow work to do. And we can only learn how to do that shadow work, find those shadow skellies in the closet, as I like to say, that are still lingering, that you're only going to see when you get into a relationship with someone. But like the original quote, yeah, my even though it was very short-lived, my heart hurt. Really, really hurt after that. But it was on purpose to save my soul from going down another path of not feeling my feelings. Because I'm going to need that in a relationship going forward. I'm going to need to be able to feel. I'm going to need to be vulnerable enough to just completely surrender emotionally if I'm ever going to be successful at this. So that's the conclusion I'm drawing from this massive tower moment. Now, that whole scenario with this person was only part of the tower moment. There was many, many more aspects that kind of imploded all in the same day to really crack me wide open, because that's what my guides in the universe were trying to do. They were trying to crack me open so that I would start to feel. So, feel I did for 2 days straight. But moral of the story, don't hold it in. Feel the feelings. Women, men, all of us, nurses, I think that's where I got really good at stuffing my feelings as a neurodivergent who feels bigger than average. And you go through a lot of hard things in 25 years of watching people become sick and sometimes worse. So I had to relearn how to do that, and I'm still relearning. Obviously, I'm going to have to. I have the awareness. I now know I am learning how to feel. This is what I'm going to have to do now, and be more consciously aware of the fact that I can't be stoic. I can't stuff it all in. I have to feel the shit. You have to feel the shit. I swear to God. So I was definitely guided to come on here and spill my emotional drama of the last few days with y'all, in hopes that it will reach someone who really needs to hear this about the awakening journey and getting back on the horse for dating again, thinking, okay, this conscious dating, this is going to be easy now. I know all the things. I know how to do the work. I know how to process the shadows. I know. No, I didn't know. But I'm strong enough to admit that I didn't know what I needed to know. And that's the whole part of this awakening journey, is reprogramming ourselves. And the moral of the story, and you would think it was love related, it really wasn't even. It was just how easily I was able to give away myself for the idea of potentially falling in love. It was very, very easily done, and which was just not the only place. I realized, and this was the bigger lesson, that I was giving away myself to in many different areas of my life still. Parenting, friendships, all kinds of relationships. So that was the big lesson.